Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grays of Westminster Friday live stream with Con and Becky. It's always good to be here together in the studio together, I think, because sometimes when you talk on Zoom, there's always a delay and things like this, so we interrupt each other. But this time, since we are together, we not going to interrupt each other. Becky, how do you feel today? She's awfully quiet today, but hopefully. How's our audio, by the way? Is the mic work? I think Becky's mic is not working. I can feel that. Anyway, enough the pun. So I wanted to do this bit since December last year, since end of December. And then, surprisingly, Becky decided to do a live stream with me last week. So I thought, okay, well, we'll do it this time. So I introduced my new colleague, Debbie. She's not real Becky, she's Debbie. She's not a very talkative person, I think, but she says things when they matter. And the things that are matter are stats, actually. So I thought for today, what we can do interesting, let's do the stats for 2023. I don't know if you've seen the MAP cameras in Japan. They did a live stream where they showed their best-selling cameras for 2023. And Nikon cameras, actually, surprisingly, were on the top. I think they had Z8, if I'm not mistaken, which was on the first place, and then Nikon Zf was on the third place. And in terms of lenses, they had Z24-120 lens on the first place. Then they had 180-600. Second place was Tamron 28-75. So I think Nikon 28-75 could fit that as well. And then they had Nikon Z26mm f2.8. So that's an interesting. It's a Japanese market, and MAP cameras is, I think, like from independent dealers, they're one of the largest. There's obviously a place like Yodobashi Cameras and stuff, which is a massive mega store, I think 9 floors and everything. But when I was in MAP cameras 7-8 years ago, I think they had like 3 or 4 stores, small rooms, but it was very interesting to see. So hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. So this is a new season of live stream. So I'll try to get as many guests as possible. We'll try to do live stream with Gray at least once a month, and we have very interesting ideas that we want to do with Gray. So stay tuned for that. There's going to be a couple of live streams a month where I'm going to do it alone, but I will try to get at least one guest to live stream. So if you have any suggestions, definitely do let me know in the comments below. Couple of things. So obviously Coffee Fund is open. You're welcome to it if you want to. We also running for the Good Service Award with amateur photographer, and the voting is closing, I think, on Monday, 16th of January. So if you haven't voted for us yet and you wish to, then there's a link under this video, so you can just click on that. I think there's some sort of questionnaire, just to Grays of Westminster, and we definitely will appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to go through your comments before we're going to start our stats. And we're probably going to start with accessories just to warm up a little bit. And then we go into the lenses and cameras, because I think that's what it's all about. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I am chain-free right now. So as you can see, it's a very different live stream. To be honest with you, you can't hear Becky because I'm muted her microphone. That's the reason for that. What do you think? What was the best accessory, Nikon accessory? Would it be battery? Would it be charger? Would it be a memory card? Tell me. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. I'm gonna tell you that, like, I actually did a list of 10. And if we start with bottom, it was actually filter on the 10th place. 77 filter. So while Nikon is kind of moving towards 82mm filter size nowadays, back in F-mount lens stuff, 77 was kind of the largest size they did. So 77 filter, Nikon one, is on the 10th place. There's NL 18D battery, which is the one for Nikon Z9. Was in 9th place. And then combined shared teleconverters, Z teleconverters 1.4 and 1.2 were on the 8th place. So the more popular one is actually 1.4 teleconverter, and I guess the reason for that being is generally the smaller magnification you get, the sharper the image you get, and obviously because it's stopped down only by 1 stop and not 2 stops, then the image is a little bit, you don't get further magnification, but the image is a little bit sharper, and obviously your autofocus is a little bit faster, so that's the reason for that. On the 6th place, it was NL25 battery. So this is the battery for cameras like Z30, ZFC, Z50. So those were popular because they're shared across the whole lineup. That was one of the popular batteries. Now, let's go to the 5th place. Surprisingly, it was a Delkin 150 gigabyte CF Express card. So CF Express cards have been popular. 150, I guess, is one of those kind of not too expensive cards. It's still a good capacity for all the images, but not too expensive compared to, like, let's say 320 or 500 gigabyte cards. People asking about bracket for Z8 didn't make the cut for this one. So I guess they came out quite late, didn't they? The Zelda ones from what's they called? Tiny little three-legged thing. That's the one, tiny little thing. So yeah, so that's why they didn't make it. But ZF Grip made it. So obviously ZF Grip, some of them were given away for free, but also we're looking at the sales of them on their own. And ZF Grip, the one that was made by Small Rig, sold really, really well. It's on the 3rd place. On the 4th place, we have MH34 charger. And again, the reason for that being is Nikon ZF doesn't come with a charger. So it would come with USB-C cable that you would need to plug into a certain charger. And the problem with that was that a lot of people who tried to plug it into their iPhone plugs, it didn't work because the voltage on that was maybe 5 or 10 watts. And if I'm not mistaken, Nikon ZF needs at least 45 watts. So if the plug that you have, USB-C plug that you have, that goes into the socket, it doesn't make this voltage from one socket, then it's not going to charge your camera. So it's simple as that. So we had some people saying my camera is faulty. No, it's not. It's just your charge is not powerful enough. So a lot of people just basically bought an MH34 charger, the traditional kind of cradle charger where you put your battery in, and then it's basically the same as MH25 because it takes an L25 battery and sorry, an L15 battery, and plugs into USB-C cable. So it would come with its own socket, basically. That's what it is. What do you think was on the 2nd place? Any takers? So think about the accessories. So what did we miss? What else is missing? So 2 times teleconverter, is it in store, John? Let me check for you. So they were on back order for quite some time. That's for sure. I think I've seen one second-hand one, if I'm not mistaken. So have a look at that. We may have it in stock. Let's just have a look. Teleconverters. Just looking on our website. And I can't find it. Here we go. So we got 2 times teleconverter. We have 2 in stock, John. So if you are interested, it's brand new. It should be available now. So yeah, give us a call if you're interested, and we can potentially, don't know if you can ship it today, but we'll try to ship it as soon as. Yeah, Becky looks bored. I know she doesn't like stats really. I thought we were going to do finances together, the Nikon financial results, and those are scheduled for the end of this month, but she said no. It is what it is, Obviously, it's a different live stream, just like life, things are changing. But yeah, I agree with Seth. I needed some royalty-free ambient music, like an elevator music or something, that would be good, or some old school hip hop. I don't know. I need to think about it. Some jazz. One of the idea was actually to have a vinyl player on the desk, and I would just change the records, while we're talking. So that could be quite a thing. So Jim Lamb says, Small Rig batteries with USB-C direct charging. Yes, we haven't tried them. So they're there. I don't know how good they are. If someone tested them, if someone put the reviews, that would be the place to go for sure. So we haven't tried them, but we have access to Nikon batteries. So that's that. Hello from Thailand. Hi, Tony. Let's see. Small Rig bracket for Z8. I haven't seen that one. So don't know much about it. I have a universal L plate that fits all the cameras, so I use that at the moment for Z8. But my main camera at the moment is ZF, and that one came with a free ZF grip that Nikon gave away. That one is made by Small Rig. So second place, FTZ2 adapter. That one is miles ahead of anything else. And you know, FTZ2 adapter, I think, in my opinion, here it is much better than FTZ1 adapter. I can tell you that much. And the reason for that being is it doesn't have that bottom bit, because the bottom bit was designed to basically, you can put that FTZ adapter on a tripod because it would have a tripod screw in there. The problem with that, if you would use, let's say, some L brackets or some other accessories, it would interfere with them, also with some bigger lenses as well. So definitely the FTZ2 is a slimmer adapter. You know, it definitely has a low profile. So I'm actually hoping to upgrade my FTZ1 to FTZ2 soon. Obviously, we all wish for the FTZ3 that would drive autofocus AFD type lenses, as well as maybe manual focus lenses. But we've discussed in predictions, and yeah, I think it's probably highly unlikely. And I think third parties will definitely come there first. All right, so drum roll for the first place. The first place was an L15 battery, and it's the battery that goes into cameras like Nikon Z850, Z8, Z6, Z5, Z7 cameras. So I like that Nikon has not many batteries around. So that way, if you've got a couple of different cameras, then you can definitely use them. Even Nikon Zf takes L15 battery, which is really good, because I can share, like I've got 4 L15 batteries now from all the A, Bs, and Cs. And yeah, I have basically 3 in my pocket and 1 in one of the cameras. Well, 1 in each camera, so I have 5 actually, yeah. So that's what it is. Roy says, FTZ is good for throwing at those rangefinder users. Ooh, shots fired, Roy. I think I'll bring my rangefinder one day when I'm in Australia, and I will change your mind. For sure, that's my plan, at least for this year. Steve says, Becky's really cut out for this type of work. She is. Guys, I want to read all your puns. Please, make me happy. I need that. Let's see, what else do we have? So yeah, hey, all made it. Glad to see Becky's on board. Thank you, Josh. She is. We will have Becky here. We'll have Becky here as soon as she has her time. Obviously, she's got other things in her life right now. So yeah, she's genuinely won't be available on Fridays because she will be tied up with something else. But her place is hers. So whenever she wants to take it, if she calls me, I took a day off and I want to do live stream, anytime. That place is hers, and we occasionally will replace it with some guests. So maybe this cutout Becky is gonna stay here. You know, why not? All right. So just feel the air since you don't have the back and forth with chat constantly. Yeah, I'm trying. That's the thing, guys. I'm gonna try to be as much as I can to talk to you guys in the chat. Let's see how it goes. This is going to be probably my first time where I'm going to do solo live streams back to back. So hopefully I will improve, because one of the things that is very difficult to do is difficult to talk into the camera alone with no feedback for 1 hour. So let's see what happens. Hopefully it will improve. Hopefully you're not going to get as bored as much. All right, are you ready for some lenses? Let's talk about lenses. What do you think was the best selling lens in 2023 from Nikon? So shall we do a little poll? Top selling Nikon lens in 2023. I'm going to give you a couple of choices. Well, let's do 3 choices, I think. Let's do... Okay, let's I'm just gonna type in quite a few things, and let's see what happens. Let's start the poll. All right, the poll has started. What do you think was the top selling lens of all time. I didn't give you the first three choices, so there's some of them that are not top three. So, let's have a look at that. But 24's okay. Let's see. I'm looking at the live chat right now. 24 to 120 f4 seems to be winning. Z400 4.5 is the last one. Okay. Z180 600 26%. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay. Don't care about sales of 600 PF at stunning. It is a stunning lens. Obviously, those type of lenses will never sell in huge quantities, just based on the price, really, more than anything else. I think the least actually will surprise you a little bit, because there's some lenses that we would think that were kind of highlights of the year, but actually they're not in the top 10. So let's have a look together. This is your guess, Joe. Yes. So if whatever you think is the best-selling lens, either leave it in the comment below or put it into the vote. So let's see. It's hard to judge with all the gear versus new releases. Well, that's the thing. Keep in mind that some lenses were released at the end of the year. Some lenses came out early in the year. So some lenses had a longer sales time compared to the other ones. For example, Z185 1.2 lens, which is obviously a darling for a lot of portrait photographers, is not in the top 10 lenses, which is quite interesting. Well, I guess that particular lens was announced, I think, development was announced just before the end of the year, and it came out early in the year. But obviously, it's been out of stock for so long. And it is a quite expensive lens. Obviously, prime 1.2, super sharp, lovely bokeh, and it's sharp wide open, which is really good. And obviously, for this type of lenses, sharp at 1.2 with very fast autofocus, that thing is incredible. So I think it's a huge achievement from Nikon. Let's say, I haven't played with Sony lenses. I don't know how Canon, compares to this, but I played with GFX stuff, and GFX prime lenses are it's not anywhere near the speed of 85 1.2 or 135 1.8. So that's the answer to that. So yeah, that's that. Coffee with Corn needs some more likes and pips. Well, if you haven't given us a like, well, I don't judge you. It's my first one, but if you wish, give me a like. I appreciate that. Let me actually get my coffee, because it's been a busy morning. We're in the shop doing lots of end of the year stuff right now. So lots of reports, lots of interesting things going on. So it's just interesting to see how the whole, obviously in the small cosmos of the shop, we can clearly see that photographic industry has picked up. So it's definitely, compared to 2022, the sales of photographic gear have improved. So I guess we are slowly recovering from COVID, and obviously all the logistical nightmares. This year is obviously also well known for inflation, which is interesting because people would generally have to tighten their belts and not to spend much, but actually, in terms of photographic purchases, we've seen an increase over 2022. Speaking of logistic problems, I don't know if you heard the news about some Red Sea issues. I don't know if it's going to affect Nikon at all, but apparently, a lot of American companies, the stocks went down just based on that, because people think that because there's some disruptions Red Sea, then some parts are not going to arrive on time, which is very interesting to see. Okay, how did the 51.2 did? So Nick didn't get into number 10, even, in the top 10, which is again very interesting. But you kind of need to see that from that point, is that those are very expensive lenses. Those are incredibly expensive lenses. So if you look at mass market, that's probably not the top lens to choose. Even, let's say, for us, where we specialize more in the professional market, so let's say we are not your local Argus or, let's say, Target or Best Buy. So we kind of deal with more, either keen enthusiasts or pro photographers who would go kind of for, kind of more expensive gear in generally. But still, 51.2 is very kind of specialty lens. I guess a lot of people, I had quite a few conversations, and one of them being, well, do I get 51.2 or do I get 85.1.2? And the answer there really is, it really depends what you do, because probably 50 is will be more suitable for kind of variety of subject, while 85 is generally a little bit more outdoors and a little bit more portrait lens, while 50 can be used as a kind of standard lens, you know. So, but if you're a portrait photographer, 85-1.2 is something you will have. And obviously, there's 85-1.8Z, which is a cheaper lens. And I can tell you that much, that the Z85-1.8 S lens is on the 10th place, and it's sharing this 10th place, surprisingly sold literally exactly the same amount of units with Z14-30, which is very interesting. So both lenses are, let's say, not the top wide open glass, not 1.2 lenses, 1.8, yeah, we wouldn't call it budget line, but they're cheaper than the other ones. So, you know, those on 10th place. 14-30 is on 10th place. And again, it's an incredibly good lens. It's a very sharp lens. There's 14-24, which is a lot more expensive. It's bigger, not much heavier, they're close to. But 14-30 is the lens that a lot of people, especially people who don't shoot wide angle as much, would pick up, and they won't feel the need for 2.8 14-24. You know, and that's what we've noticed. A lot of people say, well, 14-24, yes, if I do wide angle all the time, I will get that. But 14-30, smaller, lighter, fantastic for travel photography as well. You know, so that's what they will pick up. Now, 51.8, again, not 51.2, but 51.8 is on the 9th place. Again, the same situation as 51.2 versus 51.8 and 85.1.2 versus 85.1.8. So, you know, cheaper lens, very good, very sharp, does a lot of things that most photographers need, and obviously 1.2 is a lot better, but 1.8 lens basically does a lot of things. So you really need to think twice before spending a lot more, is what, 3-4 times the price of 51.8 to justify the purchase of 51.2. Okay, let's see. After ad, no sound. I don't know, guys. I don't know if there's ads or anything, so I'm not quite sure how it works. But I don't know if I can switch them off. I will switch them off. Let's see what they say. All right, let's see. So we've got quite short but very fun. Okay, let's see. Terry says, first time I see YouTube ads here. Okay, Terry. I have no idea. And unfortunately, I can't access this. So maybe there was something in the settings that's been done. So I will change it. I will look into it for the next live stream. So I don't think I will be able to change it now. So you got talking about good bokeh. Yeah, both lenses have really good bokeh. If you have no sound, just refresh the page, check your audio settings on the stream, see what happens. So Nick asked Roy what's his favorite lens, and Roy said 51.2 has brought me back to using 50 lens again. I want to know, Roy, what was your lens before that? What focal distance did you use before that? What was your to-go lens? Definitely let me know. But yeah, 51.2 is lovely. I had a play with 51.2 versus Voigtlander 51, and we have a video for that on this one. And I like both. I like Voigtlander for the character. I like Nikon for fast autofocus. I mean, it's, you know, the rendering is also really good. It's really pleasing. It's really Nikon-like, nice and soft in battery. But Voigtlander has its own look. So you really, you know, it's almost like you could have both lenses and use them for different things. But if you have to choose one, I think the deciding factor there would be autofocus and the price. You know, one is cheaper, manual focus, character. Another one is more expensive, but autofocus. You know, I wouldn't worry too much difference between f1 and f1.2. It's not a big deal really. But you know, with cameras like Nikon ZF, you have focus recognition, manual focus mode. So, which means you can quickly, let's say it sees the eye, you click OK to zoom in, and that will give you basically, you know, you can focus really quickly on that. So that's really good. Yeah, Joe, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I'm not a technical support on YouTube. I wish I would, but it like if there's no sound, I guess just let if everyone can let me know. But I can see people in the chat saying the sound is good, so it looks like it's on your end. I'm afraid. So well, you can't hear me. Sorry, Joe, because there's no sound. That's what it is. Maybe Becky can say something. You can't probably hear Becky either. So but it is what it is. Well, yes, as the Voigtlander has a vintage feel. Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing. And you need to be in the mood for the vintage feel. I'm kind of like, we're all going through different stages of our photography journey. And I talked about this before, but it's one of those things that's, I'm kind of tired of clinical look. So I do like character in my lenses right now because, again, we're in a different position. We have access to a lot of lenses. We have a plate. Look, this is like a candy store. Yeah. So it's always nice to have new things to try out and see what they look like. But then that basically means that there's a lot of testing to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. But when it comes to the time of enjoyment of photography, let's say, then it's a different story. And then I would choose a vintage lens towards this. I'm going through some 70s and 60s lenses right now as well, just for my photography, just to see what they look like. That's the thing. And it really depends on you as a photographer, isn't it? So, because if you're pro, you get this particular look you want to do, you get this type of lenses. But then we have people who are professional photographers who shoot vintage lenses, let's say specifically, just because that's the part of the look they produce. Sorry, I hit Becky's microphone, so you might have some bump or something in the audio there. But yeah, it's one of those things. And I think, like you, our photographer, needs to decide what it is. And the more access to the gear you have to try different things, the more understanding of that you will have. I remember when I started to work at Grays and I was so hungry for equipment where I would just borrow a lens for 2 nights or something. I would bring it for weekend, and I would bring it on Monday, and I would borrow another lens for a couple of days, and I would just test it out and see what it's like. It's amazing. It's a nice thing to have, And now at this point, when we know what to expect from sort of lenses, then I'm not looking for perfection. That's the thing. But as I say, everyone is different, and the advice there, well, don't say something negative about something you haven't tried, and just try it out for yourself. And if it's not for you, that's it's not for you. Then you have a first-person experience with the equipment. That's the thing. And yes, as I said, you also need to be familiar with the vintage glass field to know what to apply to it. Exactly. There are certain things you're not going to shoot with vintage glass. There are certain things that you may not want to shoot with a modern glass. Hi, John. He says, Planner. Where's Planner? Planner is not in the top 10, surprisingly. Again, well, on this one, I think it's easy to say. First of all, it's obviously big, expensive lens, but also it didn't come out till very late, and it's been out of stock for some time as well. So I think if it would be here for additional 9 months, it probably would get into the top 10. But unfortunately, I think it's on the 12th or 13th place. So in 8512 is on 12th, 13th place as well. So 5012, I think it's in the same ballpark. On the 8th place is cheap and cheerful, 28mm 2.8 lens. The one I have here somewhere. So I have a vintage or retro version or special edition, as they call it. So I combine the both sales of the modern and the vintage version. And that lens, I personally prefer over the 26. And the only reason for that being, as I say, it's just the price. It's something that's you can buy really inexpensively. Yes, it's got the plastic feel, but it's so small that it's very difficult. I would say it's not something that you'll drop and break real quick. So that's the thing. But 26 is lovely. 26 is lovely. It's definitely a smaller light. It's optically better. It's got metal mount, which is good. The only thing is for close focusing, you'll start to hear it because the front element will kind of extend, and it's quite slow when you need to focus really closely to it. So, but yeah, if you got the budget for 26, definitely get 26. If you want a fun, cheap and cheerful lens, 28mm is the one to go, as well as 40mm, which will give you a little bit kind of more normal view. So it's a little bit wider than the standard 50 and just a little bit longer than 35mm. You know, so one of those. Obviously, you have 35 1.8 lens, which is nice lens. It's definitely sharper than 40, but it's double the size as well. So it's one of the things where you can decide how much money you want to throw at it, really, more than anything else. All right, let's have a look at the chart. Thank you, Kirill. Some coffee for you, conches. Thank you very much, Kirill. I appreciate it. By the way, it was Becky's birthday on Monday. So if you haven't said happy birthday to Becky, then definitely she would love to hear that. Okay, let's see. We all troubleshooting. John, no sound there together. That's good. That's a spirit of the community, really. Let's see. Matt Lee asks, why would you choose a telephoto Sigma 150 to 600mm or macro Nikon 105 first? Try to ignore your bias towards macrocon. I know I can't ignore that. Amateur playing around with a bit of everything. That's the thing, Matt. So difficult because like the answer there is depends on what you shoot. If you shoot sports, wildlife, action stuff, you need 150 to 600 lens, you know, and it's a great lens from Sigma. I was just looking at one today, actually. It's a fun lens. There's also 60 to 600 as well, which is fun lens as well. So if you're into macro, then definitely go for macro lens. If you're into sports wildlife, then you know, choose that. That's the, you know, I can't. They're not really comparable in a way. So I would choose none because I don't shoot any of this personally. But that's me, honestly. You know, I think if I have to choose between the two, I think 105. But that's because I do get every now and then into some product photography. And I have 85 was it 2.8, 3.5 tilt and shift lens somewhere. Haven't used it for a while, but that's what I use most of the time because you can shift the depth of field. You know, you can rotate from horizontal to kind of vertical. So it's a fun thing to do. So you can put more things in focus when you're so close, you know. But 105 would be a really good choice. And obviously it's a cracking lens. You know, it's an incredibly sharp lens. But yeah, if you're photographing birds, if you're doing wildlife photography, I mean, 105 is not going to get to get you to 600mm focal distance. It's as simple as that, really. Here you go. John says that 26 is stuck on his ZF. Fantastic combo. As you can see, this is 28 ZF combo, so 26 is even smaller. So probably looks more amazing. Let's have a look. So Rick says, got a DF for the ability to shoot old Nikon lenses right now. I don't have that camera, so what Z camera is the best use for vintage Nikon lens? Sorry, I said ZF, it's DF he's got. Technically, you want to get your ZF. So if you're looking at Z camera to upgrade your DF, the ZF is going to be better. The reason for that being, as I said, the focusing with manual focus lenses, it's the first camera that has of face and eye recognition and subject recognition in general on those cameras, which means if you're photographing a person, if you recognize the eye, you can press OK, so you zoom in straight to the eye, and then you can just fine-tune your focusing real quick, so you get your pupil sharp, eyelashes sharp. You can press OK to zoom out, recompose, take a shot. So much easier compared to even Z8, Z9, Z6 cameras, etc. So definitely this is currently the best. I'm sure they will hopefully introduce this technology into all the cameras either via firmware upgrade, and I'm pretty sure that the new cameras, rumored Z6 Mark III, let's say, will be there. Oh, by the way, have you heard of this rumor that people are going somewhere to Lanzarote, Spain at the end of the month to see some Nikon Z6 III apparently? Well, I am going to Lanzarote at the end of the month. Is it connected? Is it not? I'll let you decide. Well, my wife is not going to appreciate it, so I'm not going to go to Nikon Z6 III launch really, but I'm going to be in the area. So if Nikon is there and they're launching a camera, can do some video or something, All right, let's see what's next. Any plans for Grays of Westminster to visit photography show this year? Matt, good question. Looked at it, it's kind of overlashes with my plans to go to United States. So I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what Becky's schedule is. So we're going to talk once Becky's back to UK, and we're going to decide, and I need to, I may be away, or I may be just there. So if we are there on those days, definitely we're going to come in and we're going to say hi to everyone, just like we do every year. But who knows? At the moment, TDB. Okay, let's see. So the next lens on the list is number 7, is Z7200 2.8. Who knew? You know, not the lens that I thought is going to be, let's say, in the top 10, because it's been out for quite some time now. So I think it's been out since at least 2021 or even longer than that. But seems to be a very top choice for professional photographers or for photographers who need a longer zoom with 2.8 on it. So, for example, Z70 to 180, which is a cheaper version of that, is not in the top 10. So it just shows, well, 70 to 180 also didn't come out at the beginning of the year. I think it came out kind of halfway through, so maybe didn't have enough time to catch up. But it is an interesting one. It is an interesting one, and I think that my brother is in the chat. Can you imagine that? That's why I stopped. Hello, brother. He's asking me what would be the budget of $700 to $800. He's got D5200 and he wants to upgrade. Brother, call me. I'll get you a good deal. We'll smuggle it into the country. All right, so let's see. So 7200, top choice, still better lens, more expensive than 70 to 180, and still a top choice of professional photographers. So here you have it. Now, the next one is 105 macro. So it's on the 6th place. Obviously, top choice for the macro lens, full stop. This is the best selling macro lens from Nikon right now. So, you know, can't complain, really. Great choice. Becky has one. I played with this. I really like it. Again, not my cup of tea, just in general, photography wise. Wait for my macro workshop. By the way, Becky is gonna do, I think, introduction to macro with Nikon Owner magazine. So I think if you follow Nikon Owner, then they will have those details out. So do have a look at that. She's probably a better person to do a macro workshop, don't you think, Becky? She silently agrees. Definitely 105 would be the top choice. Really good lens, a little bit on the bigger size and heavy, but fast autofocus, very good rendering. Again, one of the things where people say, can I use it for portraiture? Yes, you can, and it's totally fine. Is it good as dedicated portrait lens? No, it's not, but that's my opinion. Some people will see the difference, some people won't. And in terms of this, you know, it's one of the, you need to decide for yourself. Test for yourself, see what happens, and yeah, decide for yourself. So John says he bought f8.2 yesterday. Congratulations, John. f8.2 is fantastic camera. What film are you planning to use with this camera? Have you tried the new Harman Phoenix film? Let me know. I'm on my second roll on this one. Did the first one. It's an interesting film. In a good light, in a proper light, it works really well. In a not a proper light, it doesn't work so well. It becomes quite grainy and low dynamic range. So very interesting. It's one of those films that you kind of need to use for specific situations, in my opinion. And OC2Fish07 says he picked up a really nice Nikon FM yesterday, almost mint condition. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. I do like those cameras. I went through FE, FA, I had FM, I have an FM2, I finally have FM3. All are fantastic cameras. And again, you can just get one and stay with it because those are great cameras. And again, we have too many toys in here, so that's why we constantly upgrade. You know, all our savings go towards equipment. Roy says that 105 MC is very light for its size. I absolutely agree with that. Nick says 7200 is my staple. Lens alone with 24-70. I assume that's 2.8 lens as well. Great all-rounder lenses. Andy asked to look at the stream. Yes, Andy, I will look. It went on to my kind of one of those notes in my brain. So yeah, I'm definitely going to look at it for next live stream. And John says he's going to use Cine Steel. That's, yeah, there's quite a few Cine Steel options nowadays. I don't know if you heard of this controversy that Cine Steel, these people came out, says that Cine Steel threatened them with some court action, some civil suit on saying that you can't market our films as 800T films. So because effectively CineStill, what they do is they get codec vision stocks, which are film that produced for cinematographers really, and it's got this ramjet layer. So what they do is they remove the ramjet layer, and that what creates the halation, you know. So and they have 50D, 400D, and 800T stock. And then later on, so they probably were the first who started it, and then other companies caught up and they learned how to remove ramjet and sell it as C41 film. And this drama that happened, I think, a couple of months ago in film circles was that yes, CineStill kind of came up and threatened those manufacturers and sellers, saying you can't do that, and it all went publicly. So yeah, who's right, who's wrong? That's a different story. Obviously, this whole trademark situation. So I think the CineStill trademarked 800T. And so that's why people can't use it. So there's a lot of things went there. So I'm not going to go too deep on that. I'm sure there's a lot of videos out on that. But yeah, it's one of the things when you buy CineStill now, you're kind of like, on my back of my head, I'm thinking about that. So yeah, I think on one of our last videos, someone put Reflex Lab bigger than CineStill as well. So people do feel quite passionate about this, but we're not going to go into that debate at the moment. All right, so let's see who is next on the list. 40mm is on the 5th place. Again, combined 40mm retro version as well as the modern version. Again, fantastic lens. I am going to get one for sure. Again, small and light, the same size as 28, which is really, really nice. So I'm going to add the poll for a moment. So far in the poll, we've got the winner is 24-120, okay. Then Z1 600 and 24-70 are for 10%, and then 400 in the last place. Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll tell you why. Because on 4th place, surprisingly, we have Z100 to 400 lens. Didn't think of that lens as well. But when you don't have 180 to 600, and you only have Z100 to 400, and you want to buy a Nikon glass, this is the lens to go for. And obviously it's replayed 80 to 400 lens for F mounts. It's smaller and lighter than 180 to 600. And it's a very, very good lens, especially for travel if you don't want to carry too heavy stuff. And obviously the long telephoto lenses become big and heavy. And we always get this comment under our videos where people say, oh, it's not heavy, you know, oh, you don't know how to shoot wildlife because, oh, it's not heavy lens. It doesn't matter, you know, it's one of those things that, yes, if you're a seasoned wildlife photographer, you know what the weight is like, you know, you're going to carry heavy equipment. But we also cater to a lot of users who are starting photography or who want to get into wildlife and sports photography, and we share our opinion with them. You may agree or disagree with that, but all those things are quite relative in a way. So yeah, for some people, things are heavy, for some people, they're not. That's the thing. So some people say that this is heavy, you know, so so who knows? All right, on the 3rd place, let's go to number 3, is 180 to 600 lens. And this is, again, quite surprising because the lens didn't come out that long ago, you know, so it's came out, what, October or so? Was out of stock for some time. This is, I think, the first week we have free stock of 180 to 600. So if you haven't got one and you were thinking of getting one, then they are available now for purchase. So they were out of stock pretty much till the end of the year. Well, like Tony asks, is 400 4.5 isn't heavy? Well, it depends to what. It's not as heavy as 400 2.8. Let's say that. So, but it's not, but let's say it's heavier than, let's say, 35 1.8, you know. So here you have it. It's all relative. So the advice there, you know, just try it for yourself, hold it in your hands. But overall, for wildlife lens, definitely 400 4.5, 600 6.3, as well as the 800 6.3 are not considered to be heavy lenses, you know. So if you want a dedicated glass and don't want to spend tens of thousands of pounds, then this is definitely a good option on that. All right, let's see what we have. People talking GF lenses. Yeah, GF lenses are good. OC2 Fish says, by the way, Con, your recommendation last week for the website with the recipes of ZF was great. I got some really nice effects that I'm experimenting with. So this is film simulation, as we call it. So yeah, you can definitely check this out if you want to try to mimic, let's say, black and white stocks, or let's say color portrait stocks. You can definitely check this out. A lot of people actually ask me, because we have this video about film simulation back in the day, and you had to have a separate software for the film profiles. Nowadays, I think it's built into NX Studio software. So you don't need to download different bit of software. It's just built into NX Studio, so you can do that as well. Thank you very much, Vince. Happy New Year, just made it. Thank you very much. I'm sure Becky's enjoying the film that you sent her. Hopefully she used them all up by now. Becky does feel a bit stiff today. I think maybe she's a little bit under the weather. Awfully quiet today. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe she needs a beanie or something like this just to feel warm a little bit. But it's been a little bit cold in the UK, so I think we're hitting minus at least at 9, so which is cold for UK. It's not too bad at all. Ed says hi from Mexico, everyone. Hello, Ed. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. Give us a like and subscribe. Definitely much appreciated. I'll give you the second place. And the second place, that's a lot of you predictors as well. And the reason for that is very simple. So 24-70 f4 is on the second place of the best-selling lenses. And the reason is very, very simple. It is sold with cameras like Z5, Z6, Z7 as kits, as well as Nikon Zf. So I can tell you that a lot of people buying their first Nikon equipment, they buy a kit because there's a good saving to be had there. And 24-70 f4 is one of those lenses that you kind of don't pay attention much because, it's a full lens, it's a kit lens. It's actually surprisingly very, very good. And as a first lens, you can do worth. You can get 24-50 lens, which is small light, but not as good as 24-70 f4. So 24-70 f4 definitely is a good choice for like a starting choice, I would say. And to be honest with you, I upgraded my 24-70 f4 to 24-70 2.8. And then I've realized that my gimbal that we were filming with, it's kind of does a 24-70 2.8 is a bit bigger and heavier. So it's kind of struggling with it a little bit. So we do find it's in the, some situation that is just pushing the gimbal a little bit too hard and the gimbal starts to shake. So, but obviously 2.8 lens for me personally, for my use, definitely is a little better. But I think I might just pick up 24-70 f4 just for the location shoots really, because it's small and light and it is incredibly sharp for their f4 lens and for its size as well, and the price when you buy them together. Now, the first place, 20, one of the best lenses around for the range. Food it is. My advice there is D850, D780, Z9, Z8, and Zf. Start the poll. Here we go. So do let me know in the comments below. I need to thank someone. Yes. Albert, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for the coffee fund. Actually, I need the coffee. My coffee is getting quite cold. David Lewis, you know that? It's this picture is taken with it, so that's there. Thank you, Adrian. Coffee on a cold day. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I'm not catching up on the coffee funds, but I just definitely want to thank everyone. So apologies. I'll get better at this one day. I'm not Becky. She was doing solo live streams for what, 4 or 5 months, and she was doing them almost every day. So the muscle memory is there. So I will get there at some point. So hopefully. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with the connection. I'm gonna talk to Gray, see what we can do. I'm not sure what's going on, but unfortunately, it's not something that is on our on the end of the live stream here. It's something to do with the Ethernet cable. So I guess some technical issues on the line itself. So so it is what it is. So yeah, I'll give you the top 10. So since we have it, and just I'll be really quick. 10th place Z30, 9th place Nikon D780. DSLR users are still buying their cameras. 8th place Z7 II. Quite disappointing. I thought it's going to reach more, but maybe this is a good nudge for Nikon to release something in that space. Nikon Z5 is on 7th place. ZFC, the Retro DX Nikon camera, is on the 6th place. And then on the 5th place, Nikon Z850 is still a fantastic choice. And obviously, users are paying for that. So, you know, they're paying for the camera that they can trust. So they're buying their D850s, you know. So this is actually quite interesting to me, and I appreciate this. Number 4. Nikon Z9, people saying I'm back, and I'm going to be quick, and I'm not going to bother you for too long. So it's Nikon Z9, number 4. Okay, so again, top of the camera, got this camera over here, lovely camera, and it would be fantastic. And obviously Nikon Z8 came out, and a lot of people thought, well, you know what, I can live without built-in grip because I want something smaller and lighter. But again, still a top choice for professional photographers. Which is what it is. It's the best Nikon camera to date, so you can't really go wrong with that. So, you know. Do you know you're back on? Yes, Roy, because I'm talking now. Can you hear me? You know. Am I freezing? Like, okay, can you hear me? Can you see me moving? Or I'm still frozen? Because on my live stream, yeah, on my window, I'm still frozen here. But, all right, can you hear me? Question mark. Can you see me moving? Okay, so I wonder that what I see now is real time and what you see is delayed. So refresh your stream. Maybe I am being delayed. Oh, guys, I appreciate you being here, honestly, because it's, yeah, you know us, it's it's never a dull moment, as people say. So anyway, Nikon Z9, 4th place, yeah, so that was the thing. People love Z9 and heavy camera, and it's reasonably small and light. So that's what people say. You know, I feel it's still on the heavier side, but it's not D6. Let's be honest. Now, number 3, Nikon Z6 II, still a best-selling camera. Well, one of the best-selling cameras. 24 megapixels, good price point, good video functionality today. But we all know the Gen 3 is coming, so hopefully it's going to be rather sooner than later. All right, number 2, Nikon ZF. And ZF sold a lot more than Z6 II. I can tell you that much. And I can tell you that it clearly shows us that we need the new technology in our cameras. You know, it's a retro camera. Obviously, I think a lot of people just got it by the looks, but also look at the technology built into the camera. And this is true 2.5 gen cameras, a lot of people say. And the reason for that is because it's got fast autofocus. It's got new vibration reduction system on the sensor, which brings us pixel shift and also overall just better low light capabilities. We got good and trusty 24 megapixel sensor, and it's a smaller form factor. So it's really good. I'm using this camera as my main camera right now, especially for video work. And if I shoot digitally for myself, I still use Z9 for commercial work. So that's that. But this is kind of my fun camera to use. And video, especially, you set it to 10-bit. H.265 or something like this, and the video from that is luscious. I mean, if you look at some of the podcasts we do together when I was filming from home, so you can see it's just the overall, not just the colors, but gradations between the colors, just transitions between the colors are very, much nicer than Nikon Z6. So at least to me, at least to me. So, and I think, guys, you are slightly behind in the chart. So you see me slightly behind because I'm talking about Nikon ZF here. And you saying, yes, you can see me. So that's interesting. That's interesting. But. Let's just type in refresh. Maybe you'll catch up with me. Refresh, just in case. Thank you. I appreciate it. Fantastic stream on this freezing. Well, I appreciate that. That's, on a personal level, it's always appreciated that you support me because, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to do it by myself. Do you think we'll ever see a ZF monochrome or Z7 monochrome? Good question. I think we might see it, but it will depend because Nikon is trying to release the cameras that are kind of going to be popular. So masks, kind of, I think they're looking at kind of selling numbers, how much they can sell through, over, let's say, creating some niche products. Obviously, we had Leica monochromes, and is there M11 monochrome already or not? Or they just released the M11P? I'm not sure, but we also had Pentax last year, which released their, I believe it's K3, I could be wrong on this one, monochrome camera. So I think they're going to follow Pentax, and they're going to see how Pentax is doing. And Pentax kind of is in the niche of creating those little cameras like GR series cameras and let's say K3 monochrome. They still didn't switch to mirrorless. They kind of stuck to their DSLRs, So I think it's not a no. I think it's a possibility. I think it's a decent possibility though, but it may happen. It may happen. That's the thing. I really wish to try a monochrome camera myself because I haven't tried. And as we say, don't say negative if you haven't tried things. So, so I'm a little bit on the fence because I don't believe in true black and white sensor, but I haven't tried it. So I'm quite open about this. And once I'm going to try it, I'm going to then decide if it's something I would consider for myself, but it is what it is. It's the same as like trying rangefinder for the first time, A lot of people say, oh, rangefinder, it's not, how would you shoot? And I can tell you that I shoot 80% of my film photography on rangefinders nowadays. Got Leica, got my Mi 7, and the last 20% is FM3, So that's what I do now, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And obviously, for digital, there's this camera, there's Nikon Z8, and obviously, they're different tools for different purposes, I would say that. All right, yeah, so Matt says, 1 minute, 30 seconds behind. So that's why I think, guys, you saw the delayed video, and you were saying, hey, we see you, but I was already talking about different things. So here we go. Top accessory, Matt, in L15 battery. That's what it is. Becky is still frozen on her screen. Refresh your screen again. Refresh that second half of the screen. Just see what happens, So if you got that function on your computer. So, okay, Becky has become 2D. Yes, next time we're going to have pixelated Becky, 8-bit or 16-bit as well. So, and then polygonal, like PlayStation 1 or something like this. So we can do this. What was #1 camera, guys? Colin, we all know it's Nikon Z8. It's this camera over here. And in my opinion, this is the camera that is a replacement for G850. You know me, I was saying this throughout the years. This is the camera a lot of people were waiting for. And it shows. It sold miles and miles ahead of everything else, even Nikon ZF. Obviously, it's been out for much longer. It's been out for much longer. It had 2 recalls, which is not a good sign for a product. Yes, from PR point of view. It still sold a lot. And Nikon dealt with it amazingly well. And as I was saying, like we all can discuss about, like I was always saying that Nikon Z6 and Z7 are cameras that are, from personal level, I would consider semi-professional. And a lot of people disagreed with me. That's absolutely fine. Look, guys, I appreciate that this is your opinion, this is my opinion, that's the thing. And obviously we agree to disagree on this one. But Z6 and Z7 cameras, for me personally, on a personal level, I wouldn't consider them as a semi-professional. As a professional cameras, they were semi-professional. Not just because build and size. We talked about the size. We talked about the bigger body overall. But in terms of technology, where you would come from Nikon Z850, and Nikon Z850 would be faster focusing camera than Nikon Z6 and Z7 cameras. So once we got Z9 out, That was the first sign of things to come. And this would be, let's say, camera that was sold to a lot of people who would jump on the new technology, who didn't mind the size and weight, and it's a superb camera. But a lot of people were waiting for something small and lighter because, again, people were shot on D850. For me, now, Z8 on autofocus level, especially on the accuracy of autofocus, is better than Nikon Z850. So, again, we can see that D850 still sells well, and that's incredibly well. What I can tell you, though, that's from the stats I was given very recently in terms of how much sales of f-mount as well as DSLRs versus mirrorless, the numbers are not favorable to DSLRs. The majority of all sales of Nikon are nowadays mirrorless. So just keep that in mind. So, when people asking, will they release another DSLR? The answer is probably not, unless it's a rehash of something. But it doesn't seem like they will develop another technology for DSLRs. All the research and development goes into mirrorless. And it shows, and they look, again, Nikon is a business. And, we all photographers, we love photography, but Nikon is a business, so they look at it from that point of view. So, that's what it is. Con is in a buffer loop again. Okay, well, that's annoying. Let's see what we have. Leica M246 monochrome is a great rangefinder camera with black and white sensor, not too expensive. Yeah, I agree. Those are not that expensive anymore, but that's because they've been out for 10 plus years or so, isn't it? Digital rangefinders are not true rangefinders. Well, Leica Pro enters the chart and asks, what about the M10 and M11 series cameras? Obviously, if you're looking at X Pro series, yeah, those are not true rangefinders, I agree. But if you're looking at currently, only rangefinders that currently are being produced, those would be Leica M series cameras. As simple as that. So I think, M11 and M11P? I don't know what they have, to be honest with you. So that's the thing. But yeah, rangefinders are cool. I really wish a lot of people try them, just, for the experience, to tell them that they don't like them, But the advice when you try rangefinders, try to find a good rangefinder, because a lot of rangefinders from Fuji and some old rangefinders, they may have really dim patch and it would be circle and quite small. And the whole focusing experience is quite frustrating. When you get a proper square, bright rangefinder patch, then it makes a lot of difference. That's the thing. It's a very different experience. But again, they're different cameras for different purposes and for different journeys, photographic journeys of everyone. So that's the thing. I won't swear by them, but I'm currently going through a phase, let's call it this, where I shoot a lot of my film photography with rangefinder cameras, and it's Leica M7 cameras. I recently acquired Fujifilm 690, which is 6:9 negative, So that rangefinder patch is not as good as, let's say, on my Mia 7. I have a Leica M4 for 35 street photography as well, but I also have a Nikon FM, which is a beautiful SLR camera. It's probably one of the top choices for Nikon film cameras. So that's what it is. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap up, I think, because we've been here for an hour and 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes we were buffering. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you want to. We've all been stressed about those buffer and everything. So it is what it is. But let's see what's going to happen next week. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, if you have any guest suggestions, do let me know in the comments below. So, we will be happy to hear from you. Becky is here. Becky will be here. And when she's ready to take her place in the flesh, then she will be here as well. We'll let you know. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we will see you next time. All the best. Bye-bye.